Hey and welcome everyone, it's Egwin here from Beyond Systems. Now today we are talking about a spinal and postural health. I'm going to share a small trick with you that can actually help you to change the whole game of how you adjust posture and adapt it to something better. Now, the thing that most people talk about when it comes to posture is, oh, hang on, there is like a slouching posture maybe or something like that, some postural deficiencies. You might have to train certain muscle groups in order to be able to hold yourself up. But one of the things that most people miss in all of this is the fact that actually, more often than not, people in the Western societies, they carry a lot of tension in their bodies. A lot of tension that has nothing to do with being well trained or not, but that comes from stress levels. And see, that tension has to go out of the body first before it makes sense to adjust the posture through activating any more muscles. Because if you do not do that, you actually cement, you solidify the tension pattern in the body as something that is supposed to be there. And so the nugget that I share with you today in a physical expression looks like the following. See, if you stand at the table and you do some work there, maybe you share some papers with some colleagues and stuff like that, you talk with them or you work with a knife on the kitchen counter or something like that, then over time, sometimes the posture becomes compromised. Whether that's a slouching posture like this, or we hanging in there, something like this, different scenarios, or when you sit, and see, you work on a table, this one is too high right now, but when you work on a table, and sometimes the shoulders go up, but still the back is completely collapsed like this. There is a forward head posture because of contraction in the cervical spine back there, things like that. Now, if I correct the posture like this, simply by, hang on, you have to pull the shoulders back, you have to engage your core, you have to pull your neck back, and then work like this, then you work tension against tension. And that is a very bad thing. That's bad news, right? So, what you need to do is you need to release in order to rise. Remember this. You need to release in order to rise. Give me an example. When I sit here like this, the first thing that I'm gonna do when I want to correct my posture because I realize, hang on, I got way too tense or I sit in a bad posture, the first thing I do is let out even more tension. Consciously connect to your body. Realize where is tension. Although it might be a quite compressed posture like this, try to release all the hyperextension first, all the tension levels that are not supposed to be there first, and then, if necessary, in the second step, bring some more tension in to bring yourself all the way back up into a healthy posture. And this goes for different scenarios. If you stand like this, quite often people, depending on the social situation they are in, they are either tensed like this, so they push their chest out, or they are tensed like this in terms of slightly collapsing, slightly pulling in, or having their shoulders up. So in almost, I'd say 80 to 90% of postures that eventually would be identified as bad postures or quote-unquote collapsed or suboptimal postures, as I like to call them, there is a tension pattern and there is maybe a coordination pattern with muscles that tend to be too weak. But you have to let the stressful tension pattern go first. Because what happens physiologically when you do that, when I'm in a pattern like this, when I talk to someone and I release that tension pattern, for the first time, my passive structures, the ligaments in the spine, the pretension in the muscles are actually able to do something positive, and they will always try to pull me back into neutral. Same goes for sitting. If I sit like this and I just let tension go, the passive structures in the body will already tend to pull me back into neutral. For many people, if they're not trained, that might not be enough to bring yourself all the way back into a neutral posture, but that's when, in the second stage, the element of, all right, and now activate some muscles. Pull the spine a little bit up, make sure to let go of the neck tension, allow the head to rise, and then work from there. So this is this important nugget. When you identify a posture that is either collapsed or tensed up, before correcting the posture with even more tension, always release to rise. I say release to rise because when you release out of this, the passive structure will help you to elongate the spine naturally. And then you can put additional work in through activating your core, through pulling a little bit with the back muscles, through orienting your hip, through unlocking your knees, and so on and so on. But the release of the tension pattern that tired you out in the first place has to come first. Now, I don't say this is easy. It requires a little bit of training. It requires perception. So when you realize, hang on, I'm sitting like this, that's my exercise for you. When you realize, hang on, I'm sitting like this, the first thing I want you to do is not lean back, try to stretch a little. The first thing I want you to do is, hang on, feel in the body. Is there any tension right now in my body that I can release? And more often than not, you'll find plenty of it. It needs a little bit of perception, and it needs your ability to consciously connect with your muscles. But it's absolutely worth it. Because then, out of this released pattern, then you are free to use whatever additional tension needed to actually bring yourself back into a healthy posture. That's then also the point when you can start to do healthy stretching or something like that to actually be able to take you out of that unhealthy pattern. That more often than not, it's the tension that's created that's tiring us out, rather than us just being in that pose for prolonged periods of time. And even if we are sitting for 8 hours already, even that, there are some areas in the body that will be tense, there are some areas that will be completely relaxed in a not good sense, because there is no energy anymore to stabilize. But then release the tensed areas first. All right. That being said, that's the nugget for this time. Like I said, you can use it on a table, on a chair, in standing. There are so many ways to apply this. And it's one of the things that no one seems to talk about. And it's such an important thing. Release to rise first, and then correct. All right. Have a wonderful time. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, click like and share. And also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell if you want to stay up to date to similar nuggets like this, and also want to check out the previous nuggets if you're completely new to the channel. Thanks for watching, have a beautiful time, and see you around.